There was a battle between their brother and sister over who gets the cookie jar because there was no trust.
I'm just thinking of the judge, like, get a chainsaw, cut it in half. You get half, you get half. Solomonism. When you die, your family will go through one of two plans. It'll either be your plan because you planned it out correctly and thought it through, or it will be the government's plan.
What would you like to have? Your choice or the government's choice?
And that's why we're here. We want to talk about that. How do you make sure it is your plan instead of the government getting their sticky fingers on your stuff? Did you know that there's an 87% statistical likelihood that your loved ones will be dragged through the horrors of probate courts after you die?
That seems a bit extreme. Dragged through?
Yeah.
That sounds like it's very daunting at the end of the world.
Well, considering that Michael Jackson's family's been going through probate court for 17 years and Howard Hughes went through it for 33 years,
That's
his
crazy.
family,
That's crazy.
millions of dollars went to the government. Millions that could have gone to their loved ones.
And the crazy thing is, it's one little piece of paper, just fill it in, sign it, fund it, done. And no one does that.
Yeah. And I think people get overwhelmed with it because they think, actually just yesterday we were talking to that lady, Samantha, and she's like, it's here. I never really get to it. People feel like.
And not to put her under the bus, but she's in a industry that she knows better.
She's in the finance industry. She understands the importance of it.
That, but exactly. No, it's fine. That's good. Because again, we forget things when we're helping our clients to help ourselves too sometimes. And that was the thing that she had her trust done with her family for what, half a year, she said?
Yeah.
Something like that. And just never notarized it yet.
Yep, never got it signed. So if you feel like you'll never have time to get to it, you probably never will. However, that's where we come in because we promise we will get it done, not the funding, but everything up to notarized and signed so it is a legal contract within 7 days, outside obviously of anything that we can't control. 7 days. So literally, we just ask questions, get all the information, and we do the heavy lifting for you on your behalf. Check this out. In 2016, the genre-bending icon behind hits like Purple Rain in 1999, you probably know who I'm talking about, Prince Rogers Nelson passed away. He left behind an estate worth approximately $250 million. But before he died, Prince made a mistake. And you would think that this mistake is not one that he would make because he had all this money. So he had the money to pay people to help him. And this mistake ended up costing his loved ones dearly. He failed to create a plan for his family.
Was it a mistake, though? I'm wondering if the lawyers knew that Prince didn't have a revocable trust, knew that they could probably get their little sticky hands into that money.
You're right. And they would make so much more money if they're in court and if people sue and there's people making claims on the estate that who doesn't belong to, which happened over and over and over again.
No, I'm
and
not.
As a result, they make more money.
Right. And I'm not throwing lawyers under the bus at all.
I will.
They're good people down deep, really.
I don't know if I agree with that.
But there are some good lawyers. There are good people out there.
Sure.
But there are some bad blood, too, in any industry.
Well, think about it. Lawyers are incentivized to create chaos. That's how they make money. Businessmen and women are incentivized to solve problems. That's how they make money.
Right.
So I'm not saying being a lawyer is wrong or bad, but the truth is, and Ron's right, a lawyer makes a lot more money going to probate court and representing you or the executor or the trustee than he does writing up your estate plan. And one qualification I want to make, we are not lawyers. We work with a team of lawyers across the U.S. That way, when you get your estate plan, it was written not by us, but by lawyers. And when those changes were made, they were made not by us, but by lawyers. So it's still attorney drafted. The difference is you don't spend, oh my goodness, how much money.
But not only that.
They want to change it, and they charge so much.
Right. And they're not, I mean, I hate to say this, that are they in your best interest is a good question.
I think it's a fair question. Yeah.
So what we decided to do is to come alongside you to make sure that we, as lazy, procrastinated people
who are busy
doing things, always working, taking care of your kids, going back and forth to soccer, baseball, whatever, that we know your life comes in. So we're just coming alongside you to help you get it done. That's all we're here to do. Just get it done.
Yep. Here's the reality. Most of us, we never think today's going to be our last day. I mean, I had grandparents for many years. They've all passed now. And they never thought today was the last day or today's the day that my mind starts to succumb to dementia, whatever other disease I get from old age. We're made to live. Death is not natural. We are averse to death. That's why people do things like cream to make themselves look younger and plastic surgery and all those things. But the truth is, we're all going to die someday. And you don't know when that last day is. I think I remember mentioning this to you once, but there was this guy I ran into at River Junction apartment, young dude. He was in a Tesla, got in a head-on-head crash, crawled out of the car because he was afraid it was going to blow up. Probably saw a lot of movies where cars blow up. And then he passed out. What happened is the seatbelt cut through his stomach all the way to his spine. And he pulled up his shirt and showed me this. He's like 22 years old, 23. He could have died. Oh my goodness.
Missed it by that much, as they said.
Literally. Literally. Like however thick his spine is how much he missed it by. Yeah. So when we create this plan and we set it up for our loved ones, it protects them from a lot of heartache. I don't want my loved one's last memory of me being, Seth, he just kept postponing it. He kicked the can down the road. He was lazy. He didn't actually plan it out. And now we're sitting in court because he didn't plan well. That's not the kind of legacy I want.
And, it happens to a lot of us. It's happened to us personally.
100%.
And my father is a great example. When he divorced my mom, got remarried, and he had given all of his stuff from his dad, which is appropriate, right? He got his stuff from his dad when his dad passed. But when they had this new marriage, this new family, and all of this nuance, when he died, didn't have a trust, didn't have a will, and he had all of my ancestral background, furniture, pictures, things that doesn't really have a huge monetary value, but more of a sentimental value. Yeah. We got nothing. And even his brother got nothing because that new family is like ours.
You know what's interesting? What I've noticed is when the people we work with, when they plan, when they think through what happens when I die, they protect their assets. They end up having more left for their loved ones. Not just because they protected what they have, but because they're in that mindset, they end up protecting more than they thought they would have. And they don't go through what you experienced with your dad not having anything left for you.
Right. Absolutely.
Going back to Prince Rogers, this resulted in 6 years of family fights. 6 years. Because here's the thing. If your kids go to probate court, your beneficiaries after you die, it encourages families to go at each other's throats. It's kind of like divorce. Divorce lawyers, again, we rag on lawyers. Let's just admit, we rag on lawyers. They are incentivized by the man and the woman hating each other, fighting each other, because that means the more money by the way, you better make sure you get this part of the business. Oh, he's going to cheat you over. Oh, she's going to throw you under the bus. So what does that do? More hours, more billables, more documents, and the lawyer makes more money. The more you can make them hate each other, the more they make. Well, it's similar here as well. Probate court literally is a big fat temptation for family members to turn against each other. How come you left me out of your inheritance? I was so good to you, Uncle Bobby or whoever.
Right.
Although I don't want to throw Bobby McGee under the bus. That would be very nice. And here's the thing with Rogers. The government was dipping into his estate, leaving everyone with less money and a whole lot of bad memories. Like, guys, this is reality. If you were to stand there in a courthouse for an entire year and just watch, and like, let's do a time lapse, watch people go in and out, in and out, in and out really fast, you would be amazed at what percentage of those court cases are probate court. It's insane. A large percentage of these court cases are probate, which means families now, on one of the worst seasons of their lives, are having to talk about, well, who's going to get what because the person who died didn't do due diligence.
And imagine just spending, maybe a total of 4 hours with us in those
Max.
7 days.
Yeah.
All of those worries, all of those legal battles, all of those getting up, driving to the courthouse, all of those things that you have to go do to stand in the probate court, gone.
1,000%. Yeah. And because Prince failed to plan, his surviving loved ones had to suffer the government's plan, dragged through probate court.
Dun, dun, dun.
So remember this. Everyone gets one of two plans, either your plan or the government's plan. Look it up. Grok it. ChatGPT it. Claude it. Gemini it. Google it. We don't say Google it as much anymore.
All those other AI components are in the game now.
It's just fact. Hold me to this. There are only two plans. There's no other plan, legally, historically, scientifically,
mathematically.
Actually, that would be true because, that's another one. People think, well, hey, Seth, Ron, I only have a couple cars and a house. I don't need an estate plan.
Well, wait. Let's go down that path.
Sure.
You have 2 cars and a house.
Yep.
And you have 4 kiddos.
Right.
And you have this crazy uncle from Minnesota.
Yeah. Not Bobby McGee, by the way.
No. How are you going to keep him away from those cars? How are you going to keep him away from any of your stuff?
Yeah.
Because, again, if you don't, he's just going to
make a claim.
And it's easy these days. You could just find, look, Seth.
You can sue someone for anything.
Seth Kniep just died. Cool. Oh, here's my nephew. Oh, I hated that guy.
Then why did he give to my nephew instead of to me? Now,
exactly.
Family division.
Yep.
And then he makes a claim against the estate. And if the executor of the claim rejects it, he has the option to turn it into a lawsuit, which means there will now be a court hearing. It's literally now we're in a fight, family members in a fight, and litigation is the most expensive lawyer fees when it comes to legalities. It's the most expensive. I kid you not. Look it up. $1,000 an hour. Not all. Some get up to $1,000 an hour. So imagine the lawyer sitting there and he's in court for 6 hours. Well, there's $6,000 of your estate less to go to your loved ones. All because we didn't take a few hours to set up an estate plan.
I think I'm hating lawyers more in most conversation.
Everyone who watches this channel, the lawyers are like, unsubscribe, unsubscribe. I want to address another myth. A lot of people think that because they're not rich, it doesn't apply to them. But to use your example, if you just have a couple cars and a house, okay, so you're decently well off, but you're not like rich. You might be tempted to think, well, I can't afford that. Here's the question. Do you realize you still have to go through probate, or your family does and your stuff does, if you don't have an estate plan set up properly, which means the government doesn't care about the value. It could be a little bit of value, a ton of value. It's still probate court unless you set up a will, a funded trust, and so forth.
Yeah, there was this court case where this family was fighting over grandmom's cookie jar. It was a cookie jar that was made back in the 20s. So it had
sentimental value.
Sentimental value.
Wow.
But there was also maybe a small amount of value because it could be a collector's item and things of that nature.
Yeah.
So literally...
Did it still have cookies in it?
They were very stale, but yes, they did.
That's the real question.
Because there was a battle between their brother and sister over who gets the cookie jar, because there was no
I'm
trust.
just thinking of the judge, like, get a chainsaw, cut it in half. You get half, you get half. Solomonism.
Well, the irony of it, the other child says, hey, I went to the 5 and Dime and found it. Picks up the cookie jar. It was $3. So you can have this one, you can have that one. How's that? And they're like, no, it's grandma's. It's the same thing. It was exactly the same thing. Built, made in the same year. So the sentimental value, you think that you don't have stuff.
Right.
You have stuff that people cherish. And people will not appreciate it that this cup holder here was yours, that you had for your entire life. So to me, it has so much sentimental value.
My great-grandma
I want this.
had it. Understood. And the price they pay is sibling rivalry.
Yep.
By the way, if you decide, well, you know, it's not for me or not right now, you die tomorrow, the government will reduce your legacy. That is not an extreme statement. That's not an exaggeration. That is a fact. They will. Well, how? Well, in probate court, the government will get their hands on your wealth. They will reduce its size, leaving less for your family, because fees have to be paid. Even just to do the court filing to start the process, which is required by law, there's a fee for that. It's like 250 something or whatever. Based on the latest statistics, the most common price of probate court is $20,000. So I would just ask you, if you're just to take the average, is it worth spending, having your legacy, your estate reduced $20,000 so that you can avoid 3 to 4 hours talking to professionals, getting it set up, and a few $1,000s of costs now, not to mention the public exposure that you just talked about and the sibling rivalry and fallout.
Absolutely.
Let me summarize it. There are 3 reasons to avoid probate court. 3. Reason number 1, the government, as I said, takes some of your assets. There's court fees, there's executor fees, there's attorney fees. All of this reduces what's left over for your family. Reason number 2, it takes months to years. On average, again, latest statistics, it's 6 months to 2 years. Your family will be in probate court trying to decide and work with a judge and an attorney and an executor and all these people who gets what. Even if your family had a will, a judge still has the final say, and a will not keep your stuff out of probate court. So your loved ones shouldn't go through this during one of the worst seasons of their lives. I mean, just to give an example, billionaire Howard Hughes died in 1976. I was born a year later. The battle didn't end until I was 32 years old.
Yeah, crazy.
But the majority of my life, that battle was going on with his loved ones.
And for me as a boomer, I knew Howard Hughes as this icon. I didn't know him personally, but he was this reclusive icon that just was an Elon Musk before Elon Musk. And he just had billions of dollars that just faded away.
Yeah, it's sad. It really is sad. Talk about stewardship. What is good stewardship? So let me give you the 3rd reason. First reason, government will reduce your assets. Reason number 2, it takes months to years, on average 6 months to 2 years. 3rd reason, everything becomes public, which invites disgruntled family members to sue. Not to mention, online criminals like to target deceased identities, where they open accounts, they redirect mail, and they move money and assets into their name.
I want to add more to that component there, because today it's easier than ever before. Because I can find...
What is easier?
I can find anything I want to about you.
Oh, identity theft. Yeah.
I can find out anything about your
The name
children.
of my wife, how many kids I have,
Everything.
name of my dog.
I think more and more people should be more cognitively aware of protecting their privacy. And this is one of the best components to put that out there so no one knows who and what you have.
Yeah, 100% agreed. Another example, Michael Jackson. He died in 2009. 17 years later, based on the month, it's been 17 years, his family is still going through probate today. Meanwhile, his loved ones grieve while hackers are trying to shop with his name and identity, which has happened multiple times. Now, you might be thinking, well, that's a celebrity. Here's the thing. We know about the celebrities. It happens all the time with non-celebrities. We just don't hear about it as often because they're not as well known.
Or was well off or wealthy, you know,
Exactly.
just because they're...
A lot of wealthy people are not well known. We kind of equate, well-known, wealthy today. And by the way, this doesn't have to be your family story. Like, I just let that sink in for a minute. This does not have to be you. You have the power to change that. Now, I want to go back to a will just for a minute. Because people still, we just talked to someone yesterday. Well, I have a will. Isn't that enough? It's not enough. In fact, this lady, she had everything set up, everything. She had power of attorney, both for healthcare and finance. Mm-hmm. She had advance directives and the will. She had a will, living last will and testament. And she thought it was enough, but the one thing missing is the trust. Let me explain why a will is not enough. Number one, a will does not keep you out of probate court. It is just a wish document. A judge can approve or reject your entire will if he wants to. And even though usually a judge is going to appoint the guardian you asked for, they can overrule that as well. You're literally leaving your legacy up to a man or woman who doesn't know you and has no reason to care about you, and you're dead, so there's zero accountability. Reason number two, a will is not enough. Even if you have a will and a trust, anything you failed to put into your trust before you died still goes through probate court along with your surviving family members. And number three, you might be thinking, well, what about a pour-over will? Can you explain a pour-over will?
A pour-over will is what you have added more to your estate or more assets that you've added since the time you created your trust. Mm-hmm. And in case you've forgotten to put it into your trust, that's basically all it's for.
Yeah.
So it's like a catch-all.
Yeah.
But one of the things you said too that I think is key for y'all to know is even though you have a will and a revocable trust that we will give you and help you with, you still will be going to probate court.
Right.
The only issue being is the court then will go, you have a will, you have a revocable trust that is funded, that is notarized, case dismissed.
So you're saying it's a simpler process.
Very simple.
Because you have more, it's way less. But still, even then, Ron, let's take me, I die tomorrow. If my pour-over will didn't leave anything out, no one goes to probate court at all. Right. But if I left out something like a car, a house, anything, then that's why I have to go in. But you're saying once I do go in, it's a much simpler process.
Absolutely. Less expensive and everything.
Yeah, That's awesome. There's a 3-piece solution we want to share with you today, and it's simple. Number one, you need a will. This is your written instructions for asset distribution and guardianship decisions. All guardianship means is if you have a minor as a child, one of your children, or a disabled child, could be a minor, could be an adult. In your will, you don't put this in your trust, you list who you want to take care of your child if you were to die before they're an adult, or if it's a disabled child and they always need someone to take care of them, that's what you would put in.
I always like to call your will is your wish.
Yes.
These are just what your wishes are to let your family, your legacy know what your specific wishes are.
Yeah. And the reason Ron calls it a wish, it's accurate because there's no consideration, which is a technical term where both parties have to give something of value. A will is actually not a legal contract, whereas a trust is. Therefore, there's no binding power in a will. It's like if I write someone a letter and say, hey, could you let me stay at your place on Thursday? That's just a wish. But if I say, hey, you let me stay at your place on Thursday, I'll feed your cows for you on that day. And if they agree, now it's a contract. And that's the difference between a will and a trust. So step number one, you need a will. Definitely get a will. Number two, you do need a trust. This is the legal structure that holds and protects your assets from probate.
Now, there are specific trusts out there that you need to be aware of. There are some law firms that are out there that will create a trust, but it's not formed as a revocable trust.
So you mean like a testamentary?
Testamentary is one of the biggest ones that are out there today.
And they'll sell it to you for $3, $4, $50. You're like, oh, such a great deal.
Right.
It doesn't keep you out of probate court. It does nothing to keep your family out of probate court.
Absolutely. You have to go through probate court.
Yeah. I'm so glad you mentioned that.
So, yeah.
So you got a will, you got a trust, and like he said, not a testamentary trust. It has to be a revocable trust. If we're really going to get technical, when you die, that revocable trust becomes irrevocable. If you're married, it's split in two, Whereas let's say your wife dies, but you're still alive. So half of it becomes irrevocable. Stuff can't be touched. It goes exactly where it's supposed to. Your part stays revocable. That's what we do. And then third step, a will and a trust, is a funded trust. Remember talking yesterday to that lady? And she's like, does that mean, what do you mean fund it? Like put money into it? And I get it. I get the confusion. Do you want to explain what does that mean?
So this is the biggest thing that people miss on their trust. Even if they created a revocable trust, even though they had it notarized, if they did all the things right, this is the one step that, what is the numbers? 87% of the country.
No, it's 80% of people who have a trust is not funded.
Never funded. Right. So there's 80% of the people out there that have a trust that they think they're protected and they're not.
Yeah.
Funded is just a legal word to put in place of, to give it the power of. So you're taking your home as an example and you're deeding it to the trust. Mm-hmm. You're pushing it over to the trust, having control of your property. Same with your vehicle, same as your bank accounts. We have another video on that. But there's a whole bunch of things that you need to put into your trust, and that's called funding.
But Ron, that makes me nervous because it sounds like what you're saying is, let's just take my house. Now my house, I don't own it anymore. It belongs to a trust. What about equity? What about if I want to sell it one day? What if I want to rent it out? Like if I don't own it, can you help me with this?
That is the best reason to have a revocable trust. What you're thinking and what your concern is what most people think of.
Yeah.
That's the irrevocable trust. That's a locked in place. It protects you for tax advantages. It protects you from creditors. It protects you from everything, but it's locked in place. You can't change, can't do anything with it. Can't be paid from it.
So if a business is in the trust and it makes money, I can't be paid from it.
Right.
Irrevocable. Okay.
The revocable, you can change it anytime you want to. The key strategy to understand is control versus ownership. That's where all the billionaires of the world manage their assets.
You're saying they are more interested in
controlling
than
not
ownership.
Owning.
Right. By instinct, especially as Americans, materialism, owning, land of productivity, opportunity. I own this. It's mine. But every time I own something, there's liabilities that come with it. I'm not trying to be funny when I say this, but when you get married, there's liabilities that come with it. I'm not saying you own your wife. That sounds bad. I'm digging myself into a hole. KK, don't watch this video.
I'm stepping away from that hole.
My point is, when something comes into your life and your responsibility, better word, you're responsible for your spouse. You're responsible to be there for them. There's also liabilities. Now you're going to get more hurt. There's a possibility they could walk away. They could cheat on you. Like terrible things can happen, pain that you wouldn't go through had you remained single. Now for me personally, totally worth it. I love my wife. She loves me. Have we suffered a lot? Of course we have. But I'm thinking this is similar. If I own something, if I own this phone, there's a liability that comes with it. What if I'm being tracked by the government? You know, if I own a house and I sell it and now I get this huge 20,000 capital gain, there's a liability. I have to pay taxes. So what you're saying is ownership comes with a chain, whereas control doesn't. So what you're saying, Ron, is if I decide to sell my house, even though it's inside my trust, I can still receive the capital gain for that 100%.
You still control it.
Right.
Still your responsibility.
So practically it makes zero difference.
Right.
The difference it makes is when I die, government can't touch this. Can't touch this.
No.
I'm such a Gen X. All right. This is interesting. You keep complete control. Like the next part we want to share with you is all about this. So if you have a trust, it is your rules. You want to sell your house before you die? Go ahead. You want to buy and sell crypto investments in the meantime? Not a problem, because the trust is revocable. Okay, we have a very simple ask for you. If you feel like you have had some value from this video, if not me, at least from Ron, subscribe, because that means you're going to be notified the next time we come out with more content. But more importantly, for you, and yes, for us as businessmen, if you want help with this, there's a link below. You can book a 15-minute free call. This is not a sales call. This isn't a high pressure try to get. It is literally us asking you questions to understand your situation and then educate you so you know have the power to choose what is best for you and your loved ones.
Control. Take control of your legacy. Take control of your assets. Take control of the decision that you should make, that I've made for my family.
I like what you said, though.
Yeah.
Take control by clicking the link. See you next time.